We started the recording, so I'm just going to leave it. I just dropped my phone.
You did.
That's Greg.
Now I'm sitting here ridiculous. Hi, I'm Greg.
I'm Mark.
And you're watching Two Geeks Thinking. So we both officially have the glasses today, except he's more Bob Dylan. What are we talking about today? Globally, we're talking about user experience because that's kind of what we're always going to talk about because we're gaga about user experience.
But
today,
how do you
do good user experience free and fast and all the way through the process?
Would it be testing?
It would be user testing.
Do I get 5 points or 10?
You get no points.
I cheated.
Anyway, so as far as user testing, let's define user testing just so we all know what it is. User testing is the process of actually observing people experiencing your website. So you put somebody in front of a computer and you watch what they do. They talk out loud and they describe the experience that they're having. And you ask them a series of questions. It could be very targeted, like, what do you think of this image on a page? It could be, what do you think of the website overall? The bottom line is that user testing solves problems. And the case study that we have for you today is... Hi! And back to our video.
The case study is about, I had a friend of mine and they came to me and they said, I was on a banking website, my personal bank, and I was looking at my statement and I wanted to print it. Yet I looked everywhere and I couldn't find the print button.
Right.
And she's a little not so savvy with computers.
She's not super geeky about computers.
She doesn't have the glasses,
right.
Basically. So, not that I do anymore.
Go.
I'm sorry. So she basically said, like, I can't figure it out. She got to the point where she actually called the bank and said, hey, I need to print this, like, I can't.
And what did they suggest?
Command P.
That's right. Command
File print.
File print.
Which never fails. So that's good. I mean, it gets printed, it's done, but she doesn't get an optimized version. Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever printed bank statements before. You might actually be geekier than us and have never printed a bank statement, but I have because I'm older. And one of the things that I've noticed is that it prints out all the stuff that I want, and then it gives me 4 pages of blank stuff.
I don't print out.
What the hell is that?
Ever.
So, obviously optimizing for print is important, and you can do this as geeks that you are. You probably know that there are certain modules or add-ons to any CMS system that you're using that optimize for print.
But
yes,
what we're talking about here is that fact that somebody dropped the ball.
Yes.
And didn't add a print button.
Because it would be so easy to program in a print button. There are plugins for almost any CMS system out there.
Or, just by hand.
And this is a corporation that makes millions of dollars of people and probably has thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of users. And somewhere, somebody didn't realize that somebody might actually want to print something.
So, Greg, how do I make sure that doesn't happen to me?
User testing, I would say. And we are going to tell you at the end of this video a very fast Q&D, that's quick and dirty, 5-minute free way to test iteratively, that means all the way through the process, without spending a dime. Yes, without spending a dime.
I know how to do it. Okay.
So we've done the case study, and we've talked about the problem. So let's talk a little bit deeper into user testing.
Don't you just account for everything?
Well, you can't account for everything in almost any situation. There are things that you know. We call it the.
There's the things that you know, but then there's the things that you know that you don't know.
And there are things that you
don't know that you don't know. And those are the key ones, I think.
Yes. So there are things that you know you don't know, and there are things that you do not know that you do not know. And user testing is specifically designed. User testing, the whole reason to user test is to figure out and knock out problems.
What the user wants to do on the site?
That you would have never thought of. And they're really obvious. The user testing often produces results where, oh my god, that's so obvious, we have to do that. And
like a print button in the top corner.
Yes. Developing for quite some time, and I realized that if we develop over 2 months on anything, we've gotten used to that website way too much. We know where to go on the website because we built the website. We know we can't user test it. The customer has probably looked at it a number of times. They can't user test it. They're too used to it. What you want are fresh eyes that have never seen your website before, that exist within the target demographic that the website is designed for. That's important. And have never seen the website. So when they come in with fresh eyes and they have no idea what to do.
Would it be good if some of those users have seen the old website before?
I don't think it's necessary one way or another. I think you can still get data on both.
I agree.
But I think it's more important to have people that have never seen any of your website iterations.
Because sometimes you might end up having a too complex route to get to the file.
Yep, that's true. Well, shortening the chain is what user testing and user experience is all about.
Remember to do stuff like the rule of 3.
So, the rule of 3, which we just said. So, what is the fastest way? User testing comes from come here testing, which is basically like, come here, what do you like, red or blue? He says red. And then you tally the information over a period of 5 minutes or 50 minutes or 5 hours, that's all. You can test with 5 people, usually knocks out all of the user problems that you're going to have on a website. And you can do it on a daily or weekly basis with the design that you're developing. And this is way more important than doing all the user testing at the end, because everybody gets frustrated because the design doesn't work, or all the user testing up front, because if you user test as you go along, you'll develop the website faster and you'll keep the website on track.
So you're saying get 5 people, put them in a room, have them stare at them, watch what they do?
Yep.
Problem solved?
Yeah, and ask them questions. You won't solve all the problems, but you're going to solve more problems than you would have solved without it.
And it's important to make sure those people looking at the site are verbalizing what they look at. Because,
so you can understand. Yeah.
Like I'm looking at the ground, I'm looking at the floor. You could tell that, but you don't know where I'm looking or where my mouse is. You could kind of tell. Verbalizing is one of the biggest things, verbalizing thought.
Right, because people are going to go, oh, I'm going to go there, and you can kind of understand user experience.
Why did you go to the top?
You can understand user experience through user behavior with motion, but it's better if they talk out loud how they're feeling.
The page loads. There's a big yellow thing. My eye reads it. Oh, I go to the top. I see navigation. I continue reading across.
Exactly. So definitely go to that. There's a book associated with this, which is really the granddaddy of all the books on user testing and user experience. And it's by Steve Krug, or Steve Krug. K-R-U-G is the last name. And it's called Don't Make Me Think. So that's a good book for you to pick up if you don't know about it already. We were going to ask him a question at the end, and I can't remember.
So we need to know, because as the testing goes on, it's good to account for things, but the question is, who really is responsible for the user design? Is it the web developer, the designer, the programmer? Who is responsible? The company?
And I think that's actually what a lot of what we do is user testing and then back it up with Google Analytics, which we will talk about later. But I believe it's a collaborative effort with all people involved, provided they understand the rules of user testing. So like I said, go pick up that book called Don't Make Me Think by Krug.
So there's a difference between designing a website and really making one that works?
Oh, you have no idea. Or perhaps you do because you're a geek. So I'm Greg.
And I'm Mark.
And this is 2 Geeks Thinking.
Hopefully I won't drop my phone this time.
Signing off.